Hey, good morning, folks. My name is John Kais, and this is Heartside Healing. This is the office where I work with clients, both counseling and some herbalism. And I want to talk to you today about mental health herbalism and just give a brief talk about what that means. This is really what I involved myself in deeply and have been working and researching and studying about this for many years, really since college 20 years ago. And the main thing I want to start with is the idea of, that we've been working with plants for thousands of years to try and affect changes, to alter our mood, to improve well-being, to, reduce anxiety, and to improve if you have depression, to improve your mood. And you might not think about it, but you likely, even if you're not an herbalist, are taking herbs for mental health every day. And it's as simple as, if you're reaching for a cup of coffee in the morning or even a cup of tea, Cafea Arabica or Camellia sinensis. These are, have caffeine in them, so they are modulating your mood. They are stimulating your energy. It's the most commonly used form of herb for, mood modulation, for mental health that we have in our society. But you might also think about it in the evening time too. If you drink a beer or have a glass of wine, you're engaging with, hops and malt that comes from cane sugar or grapes for the wine, or maybe you smoke a little bit of marijuana. You're engaging with cannabis sativa there. All of these herbs that we, these plants that we work with every day are affecting our mood to one way or another. Another one that we use really commonly is sugarcane, right? We still feel a little low, a little lethargic, we hit that, or we hit chocolate, right? So we are using plants every day. And so when I talk about herbs for mental health, I like to keep that in mind. I also like to think of herbs for mental health as kind of a misnomer, even though that's really my thing. Really, I'm thinking about our relationship, human beings' relationship with the whole plant kingdom, right? So what I mean by that is that, it's not just, hey, what do I ingest to make myself feel better or change my mood or stimulate me or help me relax. It's how do I interact with plants on a wide variety of levels. Think of it as, if you go for a walk in the park and you're surrounded by forest, or you go into the backyard garden and there's roses blooming and jasmine and daphne, these are all also modulating your mood. So I like to think of actually working with all five senses to shift and change our mood and hopefully improve our well-being. So, seeing plants, in terms of going out to the field, going out to the gardens, going out to the forest, touching plants, and that's a little more complex. Maybe you're infusing a plant in oil, or you're putting some essential oil into some bath salts, and those plants are permeating through your epidermal layer. They're really getting into your body via your skin. Or perhaps through smell, aromatherapy. I was just talking about jasmine or daphne, but perhaps it's through smudge or through essential oils or hydrosols. These are time-honored ways of shifting and changing our perception, shifting our mood, right? And then finally, what I think of, all five senses, taking in teas and tinctures, etc., and coffee and tea, but also hearing plants. What does that mean? And when I talk about hearing plants, I'm not just thinking of the rustling of, plants in the wind here. I'm thinking about connecting to plants at this more subtle level that really is common to indigenous cultures, right? The idea of having a more intimate relationship with a plant, where they're seen as beings, as having sort of personhood, as having narratives or songs or stories and wisdom to transmute. This is sort of an indigenous understanding of plants that we've often lost in modern culture. But the idea is that we can connect to plants at this much more intrinsic level through a number of ways. Sitting and just observing a plant and connecting to it and watching and looking at it and smelling it can sometimes give us really powerful information. A lot of times how we hear plants these days are through these more subtle vibrational level plant medicines, such as flower essences or very small doses of tincture, and we're connecting to that sort of invisible layer of plant wisdom. So these are all different ways that plants can affect us and change us. And a lot of what I promote as sort of a therapist and counselor is the idea that for thousands of years we've been working with plants as profound tools, technologies of helping us to transform and to heal. And by and large, we've lost that sense, that knowledge, or we're pretty distant from it. And today, when we do therapy, when we deal with mental health, we've really compartmentalized it. And so that a lot of it is talk therapy, and it's cognitive, right? It's a real intellectual exercise. And we sort of treat the body as a separate situation. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling really wired, and all of that, by and large, that gets managed by pharmaceutically, by a medication. Now, in the therapy field, there is this shift, this movement towards honoring the body quite a bit more, and seeing that especially trauma impacts the body, and looking at ways to try and modulate, help our body to heal as well as our mind through things like meditation or deep breath work, and trauma releasing exercises, tapping. These are all ways of helping the body to also calm down and find peace and find healing. But the piece that's often missing there is that plant piece, that herbs and plants in general, and that five senses approach to plant based healing is really often not part of the equation, except if maybe someone goes, I'm going to go to the store and get St. John's wort for depression capsules and valerian capsules for insomnia. And what I would suggest about this is a really limited way of working with plants. And I think we can expand how we work with plants on a much more deep level, that we can talk about how to work with them so that we really incorporate these traditional ways of healing that are time-honored, thousands of years old, that incorporate really rich, deep work with plants. And that's really what I want to get into with you folks today. Okay, thanks.